Hello there, Andrew Kolsky with National Sleep Network, where we talk about sleep issues, sleep technology, anything and everything related to sleep. Today, we have a special guest. We have Bryan Lorden, who is CEO of Vesta Sleep, which is an emergency alert system related to sleep issues. So, Bryan, welcome, and could you introduce yourself to the audience?
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew, for having me on. I am a combat veteran. I was been in sales for the last 15 years, and over the last 6 years, I've been working on this project that will help save millions of lives and essentially give people another shot at life.
Great, great. Well, first off, thank you for your service. We truly appreciate any of our service members who put their selves out there to protect us, and I really do appreciate that sincerely.
Thank you,
Um,
Andrew.
and I know that with the military and with the military service, there are a lot of people that have a lot of sleep related issues, in addition to just the general population. So, tell us a little bit about your company, Vesta Sleep. What is it? What do you do, and where did it come from?
Of course. So it started off, one of my friends, 32 years old, died in his sleep in December of 2016. And he had severe sleep apnea. We later found out he died of a heart attack, and essentially, the lack of oxygen to his heart made his heart stop. And that's where I came up with the concept. And I looked down at my watch and I said, "Wait a second. There's what way can you be monitored 24/7? The only way would be the hospital." So I figured, hey, why not start off with the wearable device? And we were actually going to create the wearable itself, but we were told to just focus on the app so that it pairs with your Fitbit, Garmin, or Apple Watch. And at that point, if you wear it to bed and it monitors your sleep, it tracks everything. And if you have any type of medical emergency while you're asleep, it'll notify you to wake up. If you don't wake up, it'll notify your emergency contacts and first responders.
Fantastic, fantastic. So let me back up and dig in a little bit deeper here for a minute. So you
Sure.
say this started off because you had a friend who died in his sleep, and you say he had sleep apnea. So let me ask, number one, how do you know he had sleep apnea? And number two, if did he know, and if he knew, was he treating it?
Well, at that time, I didn't know it was sleep apnea, but I we can hear him. One night we went out of town, and he was staying in a room 2 rooms down, and we can hear him snoring in the room we were in. And you go outside and you can hear it as you get closer to his door. So we knew that he was snoring extremely loud. We didn't know that at that time that was sleep apnea and that it was an actual medical condition.
Mhm.
And that's where we began the journey of, well, for myself, after he passed, the journey of understanding what sleep apnea is and how it affects over 55 million Americans in the country, and how it causes secondary effects with heart disease and blood pressure. And it's just, it needs to be treated. So that's why we're here.
Okay. And he was or was not being treated?
So he didn't know. He was 32 years old. And at that time, everyone kept saying, "Oh, he snores extremely loud." And that's all we thought it was, snoring. Um,
Got it.
no idea what that was until after.
Yeah, and the hard numbers out there, which are somewhat shocking, are that approximately, there's a lot of different studies, but approximately 75% of the people who are diagnosed with sleep apnea and are prescribed a machine, a CPAP machine, or are told that they have sleep apnea and would benefit from a machine, about 75% of those people choose either not to get a CPAP machine or for various reasons choose not to use the CPAP machine. And it's really hard to impress upon them the significance of the medical issues that can occur because they're asleep. They don't realize that they're gasping for air. They don't realize the pressures on their heart or their system. And it's a real, problem out there. So your device certainly sounds like it's definitely relevant to a very large audience who is dealing with sleep apnea, especially. So so walk us through this. So you realize that there's a need for something to address your friend's problem. You recognize that technology is improving to the point that we've got these sleep tracking options on our different wearable devices. So, okay, where do you go from there? You have this idea, but that doesn't translate into a solution. How did you get to the solution?
Of course. So in grad school, um, my one of my professors had asked the class to come up with an idea, build it from scratch, come up with a concept, and put a business plan together, a pitch deck, do the whole deal. And I had this idea in my head from 5 months prior, from my friend passing, and we put it all together. Everyone in the group was amazed, like, this is amazing, this is really cool. And we pitched it in the class. We ended up getting first place, and we got an A as a group. And my professor pulled me aside and he said, Brian, why didn't you have anyone sign NDAs here? He's like, you need to hurry up and go get this, get it patented,
Mhm.
because you just gave out a huge part of the business, and you know someone else might in the class might take it and run with it. So at that point is when I went to hire an attorney to file the provisional patent, which is a placeholder. And
Mhm.
then in 2017 to 2018, like I want to say November of 2017, I filed for the patent. The patent was granted in August of 2019.
Wow.
So now that it's really cool. Now our technology is patented, and we're trucking along. And along the way, there's been bumps because we've had developers that say they can build it, but the tech wasn't out yet. So there was a lot of things. We were actually building out our own messaging system, and now Twilio came out, and it's an automated messaging system. So that one's a lot easier. So as we've been building, a lot more tools have been coming out,
Mhm.
making simplifying the build of the app, right? So we've had 4 different iterations of the application, and we're at the final stages now where we're testing the sleep score, testing the alerting, testing the messaging, and that's what we've been doing the last week and a half, and we'll continue to do so this month, and then we'll be releasing it for beta.
Wow, that's wonderful. Getting a patent is not an easy thing to do, so congratulations on that.
Thank thank you, Andrew.
So tell me this then. Um, so I understand that it's an app. I understand that it ties to a wearable, and I understand that it's an alarm. What exactly is it alarming? Like, what is it looking for to know to set off an alarm?
So the device, whatever wearable you put on, for example, Apple, you put on an Apple Watch and you go to bed with it. And we have set parameters, and those parameters will essentially notify, at that point, set off the alarm. Don't want to give out the secret sauce, but essentially, we have a cardiologist and a sleep doctor on the board who have given us all the information to know when it is a medical emergency, and essentially when those parameters are hit, the alarm goes off.
Mhm. So when you when you use the word or the term medical emergency, I'm assuming you're referencing a sleep apnea event, maybe a heart related event. What is it all basically heart related that your app focuses on, or is it other things as well?
So, Andrew, good question. The Our hearts are our body's alarm system. So our heart will tell you, your heart tells you, hey, everything's going well, or you're having an issue. So we're able to tap into your body's alarm system to notify and understand if you're having a heart attack, if you're having some sort of pulmonary issues, if you're whatever the case is. your
Mhm.
heart's gonna let us know, right? So it's based on the parameters. If there's some sort of issue, I mean, any medical emergency that triggers your heart to have any type of abnormalities is when that goes off.
Okay. So I'm asleep. I've got my wearable on. Something goes on that triggers the app that says, "Hey, there's an event here." And your app is going to set off an audible alarm. Hey, perfect timing.
Yeah,
So
it'll sound off the alarm just like that.
so it'll set off an audible alarm both on the mobile device and on the wearable, I'm guessing.
Yes. So the alarm will go off on your wearable, so it'll vibrate, and then you'll also have that alarm similar to what you just heard, but much louder and compacted, so there's more sounds to it, and that's when it's triggered, and then it'll go off for 30 seconds, and then if you don't shut it off, it'll continue going off, and at that point it'll send an alert to your emergency contacts to notify them this is what's happening. They're having their heart rate's extremely low or extremely high, um, to make sure they check on them.
Mhm.
And lastly, 911, we give it 90 seconds. So in that time frame, if your heart normalizes, um, then you're good to go. So with sleep apnea, we know that your heart rate increases, or sorry, it starts decreasing as you're breathing in, and you're not breathing enough oxygen because your sleep apnea, and then your heart rate just jumps. So it might go down to 68, and then all of a sudden it's jumping to 95 beats per minute or 97 beats per minute, and then dropping back down, and it fluctuates and it goes up and down.
Mhm.
And with that, that's kind of where the device kind of figures out, like, hey, this, that's a medical emergency, and it notifies everyone, notifies the user, emergency contacts, and first responders.
Okay, so that answers one of my questions because I was going to say, if I'm in bed and I'm having a heart attack and the alarm is going off, I may not hear it because I'm having a heart attack. So what am I going to do? So you answered that, which is the notification gets sent to these other folks. So the follow-up question I have to that then is, do these other people who receive the notifications, do they have to have the app as well, or how do they get notified?
It's all notified via text and call. So they receive a phone call and a text message. We are going to be connecting it so that you can download the app and have that specific alarm go off based on the user's medical emergency.
Mhm.
For this version, we're essentially just sending out the alert and the message to the emergency contact and first responders. And then, yeah, if someone's having a heart attack and they don't wake up, um, first responders would be knocking out the door
Mhm.
or trying to get in there.
So when the notification goes out, does it simply say there's an event occurring, or is it more specific, like heart rate of whatever?
Yeah. So when for version 2, that's what we're working on. But essentially, for the first version, it's just the alarm piece. It's letting the basics, right? Letting you know, hey, you had an event, a medical emergency, and you can check your chart. You look at the chart, and it'll tell you where your spike was or where your heart dropped. It'll tell you, your heart rate dropped down to the 30s, or it spiked up above 120 or 115 or 110, whatever it is that they're
Mhm.
having issues with, and it didn't come down, and it continued increasing. And when you have a heart attack, the heart rate continues increasing, and that's when it'll wake you up. And when you're in deep sleep, you don't feel that pressure on your chest, um, and at that point, when this kicks off, you're going to wake up, and if you don't wake up, you're going to have someone to back you up in case of that emergency.
Okay. So, so in the sort of the second iteration that you're talking about, as you continue to progress with this, let's say that I had an elderly parent that I didn't live with, right? And that person had a wearable and they had the app and everything. And I downloaded the app on my own phone. Eventually your goal is that I'd be able to kind of link into them. So if something happened, I could see the data as well. Is that it?
That is correct. So obviously there would be permissions, but yes, you would be able to see that. And we're also going to have a doctor feature. So you'll be able to send your charts and your sleep progress to one of the doctors that we'll have onboarded. And you'll pay a monthly fee for that. It'll start off free for download and then $4.99 a month. And then once we get to the doctor feature, we'll work out those details. But essentially, you'll be able to, your doctor will be able to check your charts in real time. And that's the goal, is getting to that point to where they can check it real time and monitor you. If you have a surgery and they send you home, they want to make sure you're okay. They can connect it to their system internally, and then monitor the patient that way.
Got it. Got it. Okay. I know you have a website up currently. Do you mind if I share that?
Not at all. Go ahead. I'd love for you to share it.
Okay. So this is your current website. I see you've got a picture of what the home screen would look like on the mobile phone. Um, you've got an opportunity for people to join the wait list, so they would be notified once the app is actually available in the App Store, correct?
Correct. Correct.
And then you've got a video that I'm assuming explains the things that you've been explaining to us here today.
Correct.
And then, oh, very nice. I have not looked at this website in quite a while, but this is really, really nice. Um, Overview and history. Very nice. Okay. So it will eventually, it sounds like sooner rather than later, be available in both the iOS and the Google Play stores, right?
That is correct. Yeah, we to back it up real quick, in 2017 we launched a crowdfunding campaign, and we raised $64,000 from amazing people that believed in us, and we've been pushing along really hard to get things going. Spent well over 180 on the project, and we've continued, and our goal is to get this going so that the people that believed in us early on will also walk away happy, and at the same time save millions of lives.
Great, great. Well, this is wonderful to know that you've been putting all this time and effort into creating this. I'm sorry about the story that created the initial need, but I'm glad that you're doing something about it rather than just, not knowing what to do. Um, it sounds fantastic that you've got the patent, you've got the cardiologists, the sleep doctors, you've got the professionals on the board with you. It really sounds like a very important project and a nice project to know that it exists. What do you do now, if anything, with other friends of yours who you suspect may have sleep apnea? Do you encourage them to get checked?
I most certainly do. I everyone I come in contact with, I travel a lot with my friends, and we enjoy going to away games. But anytime I hear any of them snore, or someone new that we're out on the road with, I let them know. Have you gone to see a doctor for your sleep apnea? If
Mhm.
not, boom, here I have a doctor for you, or you need to do this, and I tell them the story about what happened with a mutual friend of the group, and at that point they jump on it.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you say that because I myself have sleep apnea, and the way that I found out is I had gone away on a trip with a group of friends and was sharing a hotel room, and I woke up in the morning and there's two other friends sort of standing over my bed. I'm like, What?" And they're like, you stopped breathing all night long. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they said, you would snore and then you would just stop breathing. And we were all up all night wondering whether you were going to be okay. And I had no idea because I was sleeping. So I went and I got checked out, and sure enough, I had sleep apnea, and I've been using a CPAP ever since.
I'm right there with you. I have sleep apnea as well, and yeah, it's an interesting story. I mean, my two of my friends have already gotten CPAPs because of it, so that's great to hear. I'm glad that you got on board, Andrew, because it's extremely important to get good sleep, because sleep is key. We're asleep 1/3 of our lives, and you need to make sure that the time you are asleep, that it's sound and good sleep.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And thus the work that I do with behavioral sleep medicine. I spend, lots of time with people with insomnia, people with CPAP compliance issues, other sleep issues, because sleep is very important to us, to our mental health, our physical health, and everything about us. So, well, Bryan, I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and join us. I think it's fantastic that you've taken a problem and turned it into a solution. I'm excited to know when it actually comes available on the market, but clearly, if anyone listening is interested, they can go to your website and sign up to be on that wait list. Any final words or anything before we wrap up?
No, just really appreciate your time, Andrew, and I appreciate everyone that's listening. Hopefully, you guys can check out the website and join the wait list at bestasleep.com. And very grateful for the opportunity to let your audience know.
Thanks so much. We enjoyed having you here.
Thank you, Andrew.